Good morning, everybody. It is June 16th, 8:16 a.m. Hope everybody had a good day yesterday. Hope everybody's having a good morning. Got more short covering yesterday. Okay. Propelled us higher. We reached a resistance and the cues. We went past it, but kind of like closed by it. No surprise, I talked about that, right? And no surprise, I said to everybody yesterday in my video that look at the cues, right? I said, forget about the price action. I said, the cues are still bullish. We're still holding above major levels. And as much as everybody wants to be short, the structure is bullish, right? And what did we do yesterday, right? Lift off. Lift off. We'll get into that, right? Today's quad witching day. Okay, so expect volatility from the open. But then as we get into the afternoon, I expect some pinning to some happen in some gamma levels. Okay, pinning around gamma levels. So without further ado, give me one sec and we'll get into this introduction. So, my name's Steven Gonzalez. Welcome to my channel. We use volume profile, market profile basically to filter out the noise, basically, right? We look at the structure of the market, keeps us not unbiased, right? Keeps us unbiased. Of course, do I have a outlook in my portfolio? Yeah, right? But then I'm also a trader. So investing and trading are two different things, right? We also use supply and demand, gamma exposure levels to come up with a plan, right? So uh, myself, I trade futures, indexes, options, advanced options, day trade stocks. Whatever I see an opportunity, there's a strategy for it, right? So please subscribe to my channel, set an alert. That would help me out a lot. You can also always give me a nice big thumbs up, a like. That would be very nice. And of course, you can always follow me on Twitter, Gonzo719. You could always follow me on Instagram, Gonzo719 Jersey. All right. And let's get into the watch list. And I'm going to get into something very, very key that I'm not sure if everybody knows about. That's free for everybody to look at. But I'm going to get into that right before news. We got news today. Michigan consumer sentiment. Um, a bunch of news drops at 10 a.m. So be careful. Okay, be careful. And today's quad witching day. All right. So without further ado, let's get into these watch lists. Okay. Anybody out there, Rosita? I don't know. I haven't seen Rosita say good morning, but she's a very busy woman. So um, let's see here. What do we have today? Friday morning. What do we have today? We have. Give me one sec. Silver. Silver's very volatile, but silver was down like 3% yesterday. Getting some love today. Um, 10-year yield. It's supposed to report 820. Oh, there it is. That's why 820. Um, that is up 0.54%. It went down yesterday. Gold hanging around. I'm not gonna lie. I like seeing that. Nasdaq's up 0.35. Bitcoin's up 0.33. Crude's up 0.25. ES up 0.18. The Dow is up basically flat, up 0.07. Russell's basically flat. Ether's flat. Dollar's flat. Bonds slightly being sold. The VIX is slightly down. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Okay, Baba. I've been mentioning that a lot, right? Baba's been moving up across the 200-day moving average. All right, it is up 2.29%, despite Bank of America seeing GDP for China not being as good, right? Slowing down. Okay. Um, we got coin 54 is the monthly flip point in gamma. So if we hold 54, okay, that's a very good sign for coin. I've been watching that all week. Okay, so they're up 1.7%. Nvidia, okay, just got a price target raise from Morgan Stanley. I believe it was at 450. Now they just moved it to 500. So the Nvidia's getting love. Snow Cloud up 1.4. Okay, Tesla was a little down yesterday, right? But fall back, up 0.86. Microsoft, I think they went over the 2 trillion market cap yesterday, or something like that. Um, they're talking about AI and Bill Gates is in China. Meta is talking about AI being open source and open commercially. AMD, 0.63. Okay, I'm just trying to see what else I have here. Meta's price target was also raised to 320. Let's see here. What else is here? What do we got as laggard? We really don't have a laggard. I mean, Google down 0.10 is not much of a laggard, right? Okay. In other news, Adobe beat earnings. And what were they talking about? AI, right? So that price target was raised. Okay, SoFi got downgraded by 3 different firms. So SoFi, last time I checked, was down 5% pre-market. That could have changed. CrowdStrike price target raised to 190. Palo Alto's price target was raised to 250. Okay, so cybersecurity is getting some love. Okay, move on. Salesforce, that's the leader in my top sector stocks, followed by Roblox and Cat. Okay, is there a laggard? Not really. Not really a laggard, right? Market's still holding strong. All right. Now, yesterday, we had more of a broad market rise. Okay, Dow went crazy, and the leader yesterday was, I believe, healthcare. Healthcare after UNH, United Healthcare had that big dip. Well, that had a nice move up yesterday, propelled the Dow, right? Financials. So it was kind of like in the weakest sector yesterday, believe it or not, was semiconductors, which, what do you know it? That was a little dip, and semiconductors are leading the pack today, followed by the technology. No surprise there. Or we have a laggard? We don't. No laggard, right? No laggard. So let's go over to some news. Okay, there's a bunch of news coming out today. We can go over it. I'm gonna gloss over it because there's a lot. Okay, um, let's go over to it now. We'll look at our economic calendar first, and I still want to show you that thing I'm talking about. It explains kind of what's going on in the market. All right. So let's look at our calendar today. Let's look at our calendar. So let me just filter this to today. Okay. Let's filter this. Actually, let's just go by one. Okay. So today, Fed Bullard already spoke. Fed Waller speaking now. They're probably done, maybe. Okay. Then at 10 a.m., look at all this Michigan consumer sentiment, inflation expectations, current conditions, all this stuff. 10 a.m. it drops. That will cause some volatility in the market. Be careful if you're in any positions, like I talked about. Okay. You also have there's 5 things that drop at 10 a.m. 5. Okay. It's going to cause some volatility. Could shake you out of a position. Okay. Now, as far as other news, um, there's a lot. All right. I'm going to try to gloss over it. Um, Intel's investing 4.6 billion in a new chip plant in Poland. Amazon's acquiring iRobot. There's the China Z. He's telling Gates he welcomes U.S. AI tech in China. Adobe, we talked about. Walt Disney's changing CEOs. One stepping down for medical leave. Let's see. FedEx is trying to cut costs. We talked about that. Micron is chip maker said it will commit to China and will invest 603 million over the next few years. We talked about the Microsoft. Oracle just had good earnings. Let's see. Japan's going to give Toyota 841 million in subsidies for investment in domestic production of batteries used in electric vehicles. Let's see. XPeng, the Chinese electric vehicle maker, on Thursday expanded its self-driving capability to Beijing as part of the automaker's expanded launch of City NGP, which is navigation guided pilot across the mainland. Okay. Then we have our Adobe's raised the price target to 500 from 350. SoFi actually got a price target raise, but it's been downgraded. So that's that. Let's see. Economic events we already talked about. Corporate events. Oh, look at that. Coinbase today has 1 o'clock. Has an annual shareholders meeting today. That's interesting, right? All right. And the other thing, let's see. SoFi downgraded at 3 firms. We talked about that. Now let's go. We talked about the SoFi. Other things has happened is Japan is still keeping their rates low. Okay. Talked about China. Bank of America cut their China economic growth forecast for 2023, saying now it expects the economy to expand 5.7% instead of the 6.3%. All right. Microsoft, I talked about. Oil's kind of rebounding this week. Now, let's get over to what I wanted to talk about. All right. Now, I forget, I don't know if I put this up there, but let's see here. All right. This is not what I wanted to show you. So let me go back to SPY. We'll go back to we'll get into the daily charts. Okay. But we're going to go into something that I'm not sure everybody knows about. Okay. So, the Commitment of Traders report is put out, I believe, every Thursday, or it could be Friday now. Let me just see this date. What was June 6th? Well, that's June 6th, so I don't remember. But this is basically, let's look at these, okay? This will show you the short covering, basically, that's been happening. So as of June 6th, these were positions, okay? So here was our longs. This is in the futures market. Here's shorts. 758,000 in shorts. Okay. Now this was from May. The change on June 6th went up 41,000 in shorts and went down in longs. Look at all the short positions. Okay. That's all you really need to know about this graph. Now, if you look at it on a chart, on a graph, there's June 6th. There's the longs. 181,000 versus 750,000. So look at the positions are net short $576,000. The change was they increased their short positions by 41,000. Okay? So, pretty crazy, right? So this is going to cause a short squeeze. People adding to their short positions. I mean, look at the longs in the shorts. That's all you need to see. And this report is public. It's called Commitment of Traders. Okay? But you can just see the positions. Well, that's why we got a short squeeze yesterday. Okay? So I hope that enlightens some people to understand what's going on in the markets. Okay. Hopefully that helped some of you guys out. You can see it. Plain numbers right there for everyone to see. Okay. All right. Hopefully someone in this world saw what I just did, what I just showed you guys. Okay. Now, let's move over to the daily charts. Of course, we had a big candle yesterday, right? Let's zoom in on this. Volume's getting thinner. Okay, you can see it right here. We're thinning out. We're thinning out. Okay, let's see the move. Big move. Bigger volume than the other days. Okay, so we basically opened here, had an open drive, right? Because right here we close here, and then whoever was short from here got crushed, as well as the shorts we just talked about. Okay, so we went way up to here, 443.9, closed right here. Where are we at now? 442. We're at 442, like right here, top of the range. Okay, top of the range. Ween, you saw that commitment to traders, what I just showed? I'm assuming you did. Not sure if you just joined. But yeah, it's pretty much in the numbers there. Big short covering right there. Boom. So we are in, I showed yesterday, not a lot of resistance above in the SPY per se. Let's look at the weekly. Now look, there's really not much in the chart besides this candle here, but I mean really to 458, do we go that high? I don't think so. Not on the first shot. I think there's going to be some type of correction, and now where would the correction be? 430 maybe? Right here. Okay. This could be a point where we finally maybe move up and correct. And that's either going to be a moment of buying opportunity, or maybe we start to fall back down. Okay. I don't know. Okay. We can look at the monthlies. See, you can see that 458 above here. We're at the middle of these candles basically. That's kind of what was the resistance. Okay, we did have this month here. That was July of 2021. That was the only thing that really lines up with that candle. Okay. So, and here's the profiles. Okay, so you can see this is how it works. Get a big volume, and what do? You break out of it, right? Volume, break out of it. Volume, break out of it. That's what happens. You consolidate, you break out. You consolidate, you break out. Okay? All right, moving on. Let's go to the Qs. This meteoric rise is parabolic. That's what it is. Okay? But we came to that level. Went a little above it, 369. Let's zoom in. I said this would be the level, right? 369.31. We blew past it, but then we kind of close to it. Okay? Where are we at now? We are at 371.70. 371.70. Jeez, look at this. We're pretty much at the highs right now of yesterday. It just keeps chugging along, right? You can't fight this thing. Okay? It makes sense? Doesn't matter, right? It's what the market's doing. So, let's look at the weeklies. And we can zoom back a little bit. Look at this resistance here. No surprise. Now, the market could do whatever it wants, okay? But this is a pretty strong resistance area, okay? 369.31, call it 370, okay? This is pretty strong. So, I mean, really? I mean, we're talking all-time highs here next, pretty much in the weeklies. Obviously, we're going to get a correction. I don't know when. I don't predict the future, okay? But I mean, look at this rise. I mean, that's just insane. Okay, so there's going to be a correction, and this level as well will be looked at as a pullback. There's going to be some type of correction eventually. Okay, let's look at the monthlies. You can see it clearly. That triple top, we came right to it. Now we're holding right at it right now. I would say, again, this could be a tiny bull trap here to get some extension higher today to pull back a little bit. I'm not predicting that. I'm just saying this is such a strong resistance level, right? Late longs could get hurt today, but they might not. They might get rewarded. What do I know? I don't predict, right? Again, let's look at the volume profiles. Big consolidation here. Big breakout. Consolidated here. Breakout, right? Okay. Moving on to the Dow. Dow was a big winner yesterday. Okay. Alright, so look at the Dow. Most traded price of the rolling year right here. We now have moved across this 343 level. I mean, it went all the way down to 338 the day before. That was the low. The high yesterday was 345.58. Almost to 346. Right? Let's zoom in. Look at that volume. That's demand right there. That's what that is. That's daily demand right here. You take out yesterday's sellers, the day before sellers, all the way up here. Big candle. Okay. UNH, pretty big move. Okay. Financials, healthcare. Those are big holdings in the Dow. Okay. So, let's look at weeklies. So, first line was this 340 level. Well, that got crushed. And then it was next this big resistance level of 343. It broke that and held it. Okay. Almost went to 346. Where are we at now? 344. We're right here. 344. Right above this key level. Okay. So look at the monthlies. You can see it. There's a lot right here. If we can break 346 and hold it, man, we could go to 353. But this is going to be a big test for the Dow. Okay. Now you can see the volume profiles. Now you can see the Dow's structure is not pretty. Right? A lot of volume here. Right? Doesn't look like the other indexes. Okay. So, I mean, it did make higher low, higher low, higher low. Okay. Moving on. Let's go to the Russell. Okay, the weaker of the indexes. Russell's kind of consolidating. Rushing home. That's what I like to hear, but be careful. Russell's consolidating. Okay. Big volume here and a big breakout, right? Huge monster candle. Let's zoom in. So it's building another range here. Okay, it's building another range. Made that high, right? But came all the way down to 184. Look at that. Acted as support yesterday. And kind of had a nice day, right? Where is the Russell now? 187.69. So it is gapping higher right now. Okay. Look what it did. Holding that 10-week EMA. I always talk about that. Well, that's the 8 EMA. My bad. This is the daily chart. Let's go to the weeklies. All right. In the weeklies, right off that 10-week EMA. And, this is what it's doing for the week. Pretty big resistance at 190. Okay. 190 right there. Okay. Not out of the woods yet by any means. But if this, you know, rotation into some industrials, financials, healthcare, and the Russell, maybe that something can happen there. Okay, let's look at the monthlies. You can see this big move down and this big range, and we're in the big range, right? You need to pop out of that. That's why that really big number is like around 199. Okay, and 190 here. Okay, but this would unleash the beast, 199, at least up to 209. Okay, profile. Now, different story here in the Russell. Okay, look at this big consolidation here, lots of volume. What does that mean? You're going to break out. Boom, broke out. Hold it here, broke up, right? Now, what are we doing? We're consolidating. We're consolidating. We are consolidating right here in the Russell. Okay? So, this is bullish activity here. If these prices hold. Okay? Very bullish. You know what happened in the other indexes when you balance. Okay? And you got a strong push up and you're holding. Okay? That is bullish. Unless this breaks, this support. 184 support breaks. Okay? Changes the story. Okay? So that is the indexes. And now we're going to go over to my triple headed. Let's go over there to TNX. All right, let's go what these bonds are doing here. So yields definitely took a slip yesterday. I'm not mad. I bought some TLT as of late, so I'm not mad at that. So yield slipped. People were buying bonds. Okay. So we're kind of holding 3.7 today. I mean, bonds are up slightly, 0.43. Okay. Now the market's firming up a little more. Really, there's not much. There isn't any index or anything that I look at that's negative right now. So that's pretty interesting. Okay. Now we'll get into obviously supply. There's overhead supply in the ES. Okay. So that's the TNX. Let's look at the VIX. VIX is very complacent. We're down in the 14s. Okay. Have an alert set here over 15. Okay. Now one thing I'm going to show you in a second. There's another thing that I showed Rosita, but I'm going to show you guys. That's the VIX. So we need to break 15 to get any kind of lower movement. Okay. Let's look at the dollar, because the dollar has been taking a little bit of a big downturn yesterday. Look at that. Oof. Reverse hammer. That's some huge selling in the dollar. Okay. That's helping gold, silver. Okay. It's helping commodities like oil. Okay. So, oof. It broke this 102. So, I mean, can it push down that 101? Now, this helps out equities as well. Okay. So, interesting. Can it go down to 101? Now, everybody talks about a de-dollarization eventually, where the dollar won't be the world's reserve currency anymore. I don't know if that's when it happens. I think it's going to be a long time from now. I don't claim to be an expert in that, but that's what's been a lot of people have been talking about, the de-dollarization, right? So that's the dollar. All right. Now, one thing I just wanted to show you guys is a thing called P call. And this is not absolute. I'm not telling you to trade off it, but it's usually a decent indicator, okay, of reversals. Okay, I gave this to Rosita. Okay, now this is simple as it gets. This is a put to call ratio. Okay, whenever you get extreme readings, like I have mine set, I actually could move this down to 0.5. I think I'm going to move this down. Actually, let's see, 0.56. I think I'm going to go to. Okay, whenever you get an extreme reading below here, that just means that there's a lot of people in calls. That usually, when you're down at this area, it will cause a reversal because it's basically just so much call buying. Okay, so I have an alert here set at 0.56, and I just get a regular alert. I have it in there to note saying reversal possible because it doesn't mean it reverses right away. Okay, but it usually, when you hang it out here at the bottom, what usually happens here is every time you touch, notice these are the bottoms, and these are extreme readings as of late. Extreme readings, right? So just look, anytime we've came down here at the bottom, where do we usually go? Way back up. Come down, touch the bottom, go way back up. Where's the extreme on the other side? This is extreme puts, up around 1.47. So I have an alert here. Okay, when it goes above here, that's the other way, right? It's just extreme readings. Okay, just pointing that out. This doesn't mean you trade off it. It's just a little feather in the cap that we're at extreme call buying as of late. Extreme call buying. Let me look. You don't even see a cluster like that back here. It usually dips, and just goes back up. Dips and goes back to the other side, right? And you guys can look on your own and look at these dates. Like this is probably a bottom in the market here at one time. 315. Go look at a daily chart and see. Okay? Just another tool. That's all it is. Just another tool. All right, let's get over to the market profile. All right, my buddy, my friend. We're going to talk about structure, right? Because structure drives everything for me. Doesn't matter what I think about what the market's doing, what I think the market should be doing, the news that just came out, that doesn't mean squat. Okay? Doesn't mean anything. And I actually had a conversation with Rosita yesterday where I was explaining that's why I love market profile and volume profile, because it goes by the structure of the market. Now, don't get me wrong. Can technical, fundamental news squash all of that? Yes, it can, right? But to keep me sane, and I said it specifically to you guys yesterday in the channel, I said, do not be seduced by price action. I said, this is still bullish, even when the NQ and everything was down yesterday. And what happened? Right? Structure was held. And you can see it very clearly here. So structure was held. So let's look at the week. Here we go, right? Now, I don't gotta, this is not me claiming any rights or wrongs, right? This is a structure. I don't create this structure. This isn't my opinion. That's the beauty of this. When I show you guys this stuff, this is not my opinion. This is what is there, right? So look where the market opened. The most traded price of the week. Right here. It held it. It opened. And what did it do? Drove up to here. Where's that? That's the most traded price. Well, scratch that because that's yesterday's most traded price. Anyway, my point was, this was the market yesterday. It went all the way down here, right? And I said, it's in demand. I said, this is our line in the sand. And I said, if it holds this, we could just be going higher. And that's what happened. Okay? So, most traded price is being held. That's bullish. We got a profile now that's a little more balanced, okay? We have overhead supply here. So we have supply right there. Now, where does that supply start? 4502, call it 4500, just to be right there. We have supply. Can that be the spot where if we do bump up into there, then we start get some people taking profits a little bit and can get a correction? Possibly. Possibly. I mean, you don't go up forever, right? Possibly. That's why I stress possibly. So now, next thing, most trader price that's being held. We all know that 44.12. Okay, you hold that. The longer you hold that, it's bullish. Okay. Now, what's the next thing for the market to do to be bullish, even more bullish, is to move this most traded price of the week up here. Start building value up here. Because if it does that, and this becomes a new traded price of the week, let's say it's up here, and it's holding it, just building energy, this is bullish to do that. That hasn't happened yet. However, let's look at what's happening now in the market, right? Yesterday's low, yesterday's high. Now I have to tell you something else now about market profile. So we have a poor high up here. Okay, I'll break it out, show everybody. Now you don't see that clear, but there's a double top here, basically, right here, and that's weak. That's a poor high. Now that should be corrected today. What do I mean by corrected? It just means that longs got poor location. Okay, so let's see if we can. Let's just make this easier for everybody to see it. Okay, so this was yesterday's session, and remember, these are 30-minute bars. So right here you have a poor high. Okay, so this has nothing to do with institutions. This is just little traders like me and you seeing this nuance. And longs had poor location, right? So shorts have positions here. This is not me making this opinion. This is how it works. Shorts are here. This area, 44.85, which is the highs, should get corrected if these shorts get run over. Because what it means is the profile, okay, needs to see excess. So what could happen today is come up here, boof, you get the excess. And what I'm talking about is the excess here. You need excess. Okay, I know this is a little more in depth with profile and market profile, but this is the nuances that I love about it, right? So we could come up, boom, those shorts have to cover. Do we go all the way up to supply? I don't know, but that could cause a little bit of a pullback in the market. We have to see. I'm just giving you the nuance. Okay. Let me make this profile back to the way I like it. Okay, back to here. So what do we have here? Again, low, poor high, overnight low, overnight high. Now if this overnight high gets again here, boy, that's even a weaker high right here. That would cause a weak high. Okay, and you're gonna knock too many times, we're most likely gonna hit this supply. All right, now what does this tell us? Big move up and we're holding. That's bullish. That is bullish. Okay, so, and you have demand here. So Holding higher prices is bullish, almost at the highs. Okay, now two things here. All right, let's get into the plan or the scenario. Okay, now two things here. If you're a scalper, which Rosita's been of late, all right, we're gonna go with a long scenario here. Okay, now I said there's a poor high here, and they're setting up to be a weak high if the overnight finds resistance here as well. Okay, now if you're a scalper mindset, you know, somebody could be like, ooh, I want to go long. You could put a buy stop here and get this poof, this push up. Okay, I used to do that in the past. That's not kind of my style anymore. But because of this poor high, and if we get resistance here and we come back, well, that even makes it weaker to push back. Okay, so what could we do today as large orders I'm hearing in my ear are hitting the tape right now? Um, okay, so price is right here, right at yesterday's highs, right? So what I would like to see is this is one scenario, okay? For me to be hungry for a long, a push up, you get that push through. People take profit, right? Market comes back down, goes to the overnight lows. Now this is the POC of yesterday. This is the point of control. That just means the most time was spent at this price, which is 45.50, 44.53. Happens to also be demand. Okay? This happens to be the 50% Fibonacci of yesterday. It's confluence, guys. Okay? So we could bounce off here. We could come down to the 50% Fibonacci, still in demand. Start holding, making higher lows. Now, we can come back up, and then I might be interested and say, whoa, the market might then make that run here and then eventually go to the supply. Okay? That's what I kind of see. Now, the market also in a long scenario can also do one of these. Come down, most traded price, come down. Then there's demand here, right where the most traded price of the week is. This would be the test for the market. If it did come down here. If we held it, well, people could see that as a buying the dip opportunity, right? Remember, this level is our barometer, 44.12. This market structure stays intact if we hold this level. We could get selling all the way to here. It does not change that buyers are still in control. It doesn't change that. Okay? Now, obviously we have a bear scenario to talk about too. Okay? If you're a little bit of a bear, right? Whatever can happen. I just gave you long scenarios, right? But like, let's just say we do come up here, we come here, we do whatever. We land in this supply. Well, if we get some frothiness up here and you get some lower highs, that could be your move. Market could stop here and possibly come into this demand, and we could balance, right? That's one. Now, market could do that, but let's say the market comes down, breaks this demand, holds under it. That's the 50% Fibonacci of yesterday. Still would have to contend with the most traded price, and we could find ourselves here. And like I said, we can bounce. Really bearish is holding under this level and down here. Okay? That's those scenarios. Now I'm going over today. I am going over what I wanted to do, but that's okay. Let's go right to the NASDAQ now. Okay? Let's look at the NASDAQ. All right. Okay. Balance profile right now. Okay. Now you guys are going to already see what I'm seeing. I hope you do. All right. We already have a weak high here. Look at that. That is small traders. So this is setting up for a push higher. Okay, that's a weak high. Okay, just I looking at right off the bat, weak high setting up already. Okay, now let's look at the profile. So we do have a little bit of a completed profile, but we're building volume here, right? Same thing. Need to move the most traded price. What did the Nasdaq do? Didn't even come down to it. Almost did and boosted yesterday. Can it move it up here? Because if it can't, we do this. We go right back. Okay. Now let's look at where we're at. We got that weak high, so that's the overnight high and yesterday's high. Okay, you don't see this in without using this market profile, volume profile, because I'm looking at overnight and I'm looking at the yesterday, right? So here's our 50% Fibonacci, 152.78. All right. So what do we have here? Holding higher prices. Holding higher prices. This is bullish. You're holding the big move up, right? Bullish. Can't argue that. That's not up for debate. Okay. So, weak high. That is definitely a launch point. Okay. So, right away, get right into it. Okay. So, same thing that I'm looking for. Okay. Two scenarios here. If it's really strong, market could break, get some frothiness, come back, hold this to go like that. All right. Also, can break, come all the way back down to this demand, higher lows, and then it could also go like that. And then again, down here is the last line of defense. Yes, this would be price action weak, but structurally still strong if we hold this, and you could start moving back up. And again, if we did come back here and we move back up and we started to balance all up in here, that's bullish. Okay, that's bullish. And I don't see much supply overhead. Okay, but we definitely could break the week high. That could be the frothiness for everyone to start taking profits. We could move back down. Like I said, we could bounce out of this demand, but this is the bearish scenario. If we break through here, hold it, that could be the move where we balance here or we push down back here. And if, I'm not saying this all happens today, but if we break this, then, we get the correction. I don't saying this all today. Okay, I'm just saying this is a scenario that could happen. I'm not sure. I'm just giving you the scenarios, right? I really don't know what will happen. Okay, so that's going to be it for me today. Okay, now of course, give me some love. Subscribe if you haven't. If you're new, please set an alert. All right. I always appreciate you give me a thumbs up, a like. That would be help me out. That would be awesome. Okay, you got my Twitter and my Instagram. So that's what I see in the market right now. Okay, that's our plans today. Okay, now I have to do my pre-market plan, which is getting cut into right now, of what I'm literally looking at. But I am looking at right now. I could tell you I'm looking at coin, but I have to do a little more. Yeah, possibly, Win. So coin, um, like I said, right now, that's what I'm looking at. Um, but I have to zone it in a little bit. So, because I haven't done my um, pre-market plan for it yet, because I don't want to just stay spat off that I'm just going to go long coin if I don't see anything like that involved, right? So that's about it. Hey, everybody, have a good weekend. It looks like we have an extended weekend, right? We're off Monday for trading. Um, so everybody have a good weekend. Stay patient today. Remember, 10 o'clock is could shake you out of a trade if you're in one. Be careful. And you have our plans. Okay, we have our plans. Remember, this market can do what you don't think it can. Okay, I showed you the commitment to traders report. Go back, review that. There's still longs, there's still shorts in this market. Okay, they just probably got on a lot of them unwound yesterday, but this is just an AI-driven bubble that who knows when it's gonna pop. Right? There's gonna be a correction, but we don't know when. All right. So everybody have a great weekend. If I don't talk to you for the rest of the day, um, okay. Good job, Rosita. And everybody have a good weekend.